What is going on, guys? TKD1 to the back of the album review. Of course, every week here on the channel, we start with the album on Monday and then go throughout the entire week and review the album. We talk about it here on the weekend. And look out for those tweets on Mondays. I usually post, hey, I'm going to do this album this week. An album from, of course, the OVO label. You all know I have a very strong bias towards OVO, right? But I will try, and do my thing. And I think you'll see here that this bias doesn't really affect my thoughts and impressions on this album exclusively here. But we got a project here. We've been hearing a lot of announcements from other OVO artists as well that they're going to be dropping a lot in October, hence the name, October's very own, and we have a lot of projects coming out in October from OVO. So definitely going to be a very busy October starting off here in the channel. But without further ado, we're going to review PARTYNEXTDOOR's 7 Days. Now, talking about the logistics of the album, it is 7 songs long and just under half an hour, which is 28 minutes to spare. So definitely is a very short project. It is amongst not in the realm of his other EPs where they are literally like 18 minutes long, 17 minutes long, with Colors 1 and 2, but overall it is a very I feel acceptable length for a album. As I don't even know how he wants to call this. I would call it a little bit more of an EP, but and it's just because of its small vein, but I think it's being labeled as just, I don't know, just a project that he put out. And speaking of features, we have a girl here named Halsey. She does pretty good in her song as well, if we do like the song that she's in. Then we have Big Boss Rick Ross. You guys all know I'm a very big fan of Rick Ross, and I love to see Rick Ross whenever I can. Now, I spent a lot of time with this album, a very in-depth time with this album, because I have very mixed thoughts on this whole thing, and I feel like a lot of people do as well. I'm not alone in this testament, and I really did also reach out to a lot of people as well, saying, hey, how are you feeling about this? Am I crazy? And let's just go into how I felt about this album. Now, upon my first listen through of this album, right, it was very jarring. It was very weird, right? And it's such a weird thing to explain, the weird thing to talk about, especially with other people as well, because they also felt the same way as me. And that's that, P&D is definitely switching up his sound here. This is a very different EP from PARTYNEXTDOOR. This is very different from anything he's put out, right? Because if you all listen to his 3 albums that he's put out and his 2 EPs and all of his projects, you understand the P&D style, like how he does his songs, right? It's very clear. He has a very distinct sound, a very distinct style, and you expect it every time you hear a P&D song, right? Like regardless of what you're talking about. Of course, there's been a little bit changes up here and there, but generally speaking, overall, he definitely has a style that he really sticks to, and it really works, and it sounds great, and I love it. And there's also an angle of repetitions here and there, but overall I really enjoyed that style, and I really do feel that P&D does that well. And then we get 7 Days here, and we're expecting, okay, maybe a little more extended, like Colors 2, what we got in the summer and everything, like a little bit more, something like that, you know what I'm saying? But what we got was completely different from that, man. Like he is like it just seems like he's tuning down the auto-tune a little bit, and he's using his natural voice for a lot of these songs and everything, and it's just a thing where I kept saying, like, man, like, this isn't bad. Like, it doesn't sound bad. It's not bad songs overall. There is one bad song that we're gonna talk about, but beside the point, like, it's not bad. It's just extremely different, and it's jarring for me, and it's really confusing to feel if I really don't like this project or if I'm just not used to the sound and the style of it. And that is totally what I kept battling with all this week. I was like, man, like, do I even like this? Like, am I enjoying listening to this? You know what I'm saying? And of course, we'll get to the final verdict in a little bit, but let me touch on that song. Now, the song I absolutely hate and what I don't like, and what I feel is arguably, and maybe, in my terms, not even arguably, really is one of the worst P&D songs ever put out, is track 2, It Never Played Me. I just found that track really annoying. I don't like it. He sounds kind of weird in it, you know what I'm saying? Definitely was not a fan of track 2, but track 1, the intro, I love the instrumental, I love the feel of it, and the instrumental definitely does remind you of kind of that old style P&D. And going into the actual song, it's definitely great. I like the song overall. Moving on to Damage. Damage is, I feel, one of the very upstanding songs in this whole thing. A lot of people are talking about that song, and the Halsey girl that is in this as well, she does a great job overall. It's a very nice upbeat song to it. Definitely a fan of it. And then we get to Better Man. Now, Better Man, I want to talk a little bit more about here, because Better Man, I don't know what it was. This is one of those songs that he definitely is using just his natural voice and everything. He's not using auto-tune, but the way he does like some of his notes in the chorus, it feels lazy, right? I don't know, maybe I'm just being too critical, looking into this way too deep, but there was like notes that hit where you would assume he's gonna go, to this level of the note, but then he like just kind of just gives up and like just ends the note. It's very, very weird. It's a very jarring, thing to hear from PND, but I feel like it's okay, and Rick Ross does a great job on his verse in the track as well. Obviously Rick Ross I'm a big fan of, so overall he does a great job on his verse, nothing to be, just surprised of there. And then we get Best Friends, which is like an okay song, whatever, but definitely my two favorite tracks I feel are the last two. That's the Right Way and definitely Love Me Again is probably my favorite of the whole thing. Just just reflecting on it last night and reflecting just right now as they're doing like my last playthrough and everything. Love Me Again, I feel like I love the most, and it's kind of funny because Love Me Again feels a lot like a previous style PND. Like that could easily go on like PND 3, PND 2, Colors 2, and definitely makes sense. And it's kind of funny how, man, like the style of song that closely resembles his previous style as opposed to 7 Days is my favorite track out of 7 Days. So that's kind of funny to see there. But overall, I think Love Me Again is a great song. And overall, you again have that very, very personal, very sad kind of somber lyrics overall in this whole project. With him just talking about having these conflicts of him not being able to be friends with someone just because they have history and everything, and he like can't view her as just a friend. That's obviously there, that's very prevalent in 7 Days. And also a quick side note, the artwork is pretty cool. Also, like, it looks like a movie poster. It looks great. I love the aesthetic. I love the actual vibe of it. Very, very cool there. But overall, like this album caused me so much inner conflict and so many issues just looking at it, just because it was just a very, very weird, this whole album and this whole EP is very, very jarring. I feel like if you're a longtime PND fan, you will totally get what I'm saying here. I am hearing OVO fans that hate this and that they used to love PND, and they just like speaking in more like historical terms, they love PND projects like just like me and everything, and they're saying that they absolutely hate this. They do not like 7 Days at all, and I won't go that far. I'm not gonna say I hate this project. I think this is obviously a risk involved, because there's definitely a risk when you're taking here, and I feel that PND obviously had a risk here going into this, just completely deriving and just completely sidestepping his overall style, for something that's a little bit new. Obviously it's going to be a risk. A lot of people obviously are not going to be able to swallow that pill sometimes, and definitely I feel like he should not be criticized or definitely be given like a worse score just because he did something different. I feel like that should be commended if he's taking a risk, and I definitely feel like definitely is a very, very big risk involved in this. And a lot of people are saying that, hey man, like him taking that risk also was for the better, because some people thought that maybe like he was being a little more complicit with his music. Some people thought that he was being a little bit more comfortable in his style and everything, and I wouldn't say that was like a bad thing, but that's just how some people felt as well. So just me personally, I think that this is a very, very commendable move to really do something different and do something outside the box overall. And it's just my kind of negative feelings towards this 7 Days project really do derive just from the overall kind of, I guess, shell shock and really weirdness of listening to this the first few times, everything, and having it be so weird and so just different from a PND project we've had in the past. So overall, my final verdicts, this is I feel a album that I'm sure I will grow with and sure will grow to appreciate later on and everything, but I'm not gonna sit here and call it his best work. I'm not gonna sit here and call it some of his best tracks he's ever made in his life. I do also just with that being said, love Me Again. The last track is absolutely great, but I cannot sit here and say, oh yeah, this is his best work, because I just don't think that at this point. And overall, I feel that you maybe won't as well if you're a PND fan, and I definitely do implore you, if you are a PND fan, definitely go check out this, stream it. It's on Spotify, obviously, all the good stuff. Definitely recommend you stream it, take a listen to it, and maybe you might like it, maybe you might appreciate the change of sounds, or you may be one of those people that are definitely not feeling it. But definitely let me know. I'm saying, like, if you haven't listened to it, definitely go listen to it. Let me know down in the comments below, guys, this video. Let me know how you guys think about 7 Days overall. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. If you enjoyed me, leave a like, subscribe, and below. Bitching me, thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.